Oh boy.
And we're live.
Hi.
On Wrasslin
Hi.
on
Hi,
YouTube.
guys.
Let's see.
Oh, I just got the notification that you're live.
And now we're live on audio. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrasslin Talkos podcast. I'm your host, Vimos one, Franco.
I'm also your host, the bad guy, Nick H.
And hello, guys. It's Ty-Fi in the house, finally here on the podcast.
And our special guest for Wrasslin Talkos podcast.
Manny Fresh, what's good?
Well, good.
What's good?
Today's a special Ghost Stories edition. We're going to be telling you some ghost stories, and someone's watching one. That's weird.
That's Sanchez.
Ghost stories. So we're basically going to tell our ghost stories that we have. Let me share it on Facebook and all that crap, and y'all just like grumble and put stuff. I'll judge we could.
About stuff.
I set the mood.
Light it up.
Yes.
Light it up.
Yes. There we go. Put it around like a circle.
Oh, yeah.
We're not summoning.
We're not
demonic.
summoning.
What do you mean
Okay.
we're summoning the other guy that's within me?
Here, I'll give Nick H his
No, I'm a good
Color.
guy.
Manny Fresh
Oh, green.
color.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And then I have Mr. Mimosa Wall 1, his candle right there.
Dumbass. So
My
I was just about to say that. My leg.
leg.
My leg. Pretty
All right, sorry about
this
that.
podcast.
I'm
Um,
excited.
So
This
many
is our end of the month special with our guest. Our guest today, like I said, Manny Fresh. So we're just gonna have a little special ghost stories.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to start this.
You want to start this?
Mr. Fresh, want to start with the story?
Yeah,
Sci-fi?
I have a few stories. Up to you.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Guest first.
All
Guest
right, well,
first.
Let's actually set the mood. Drop the light. Pull up the cell phone. Light.
Okay, cool. Let me get my cell phone light going.
Oh, I put a camera. Hello. I'm an idiot. Oh, I put a camera.
What the hell's going on here?
Are you
I'm the one
recording
viewer.
me?
If you have a ghost story, now we have two watchers now. I think you're one of them.
What?
If you have a ghost story, then by all means, put in the
Are you
comment
watching
section
you are?
and let us know.
Oh, this looks amazing.
This
Okay.
actually looks pretty nice.
This
Wow.
actually looks really good.
I can
We
give
got
you.
3 watchers now.
I will brighten it up here
Down
in the
to-
middle.
Because I
Here.
stopped watching.
We can put it
Again, no demonic shit or anything right here now. Just
Right.
ghost stories.
Yeah.
Here,
We're
put
staying
it
in the
towards
mood.
front.
Okay.
For that light.
If you're on audio and we have candles surrounded us, all the lights are off, the AC's running. So yeah, you should probably be on YouTube and watch it.
It's pretty fun right
It's
now.
not live no more since you're listening on audio because they'll get uploaded later. So I'll go YouTube Wrestling Entertainment and watch the live video of ghost stories.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, spooky.
let's begin.
All right. Well, I'm going to clarify a few things before I tell my story. The opinions and views that I express are of me solely, not the group as a whole. So when it comes to ghosts, I refer to a lot of this as angels and demons. So just for the future, the remainder of they understand what I'm saying. So the first story, it happened to me when I was in high school. I want to say I was a freshman, maybe a sophomore. And me and my father, we used to clean this building right by Los Encinos. It was called Centro de Niños, and it was a child care center. And so the first 2 buildings are there's 3 buildings in all. The first 2 buildings, when you get out of them, you have to lock them up right after during cleaning them, and you walk down a pavement path where the playground is and everything, and you gotta lock a gate, close that off, and you gotta go to another gate, open that up, and then it leads you to the 3rd building. Which were that's where like the older daycare kids would stay, and there's 2 doors. So this one night, whenever we would get out of a building, my father would say, "Set the alarm," right? And we were cleaning this stuff late at night. So right next to the Centro de Niños, there was this park, and it had no lights at night whatsoever. It was really, really creepy. And this one night, my dad's like, "Man, I forgot to set the alarm to the 2nd building. I need you to go back, unlock the gate, head to the 2nd building, take off the alarm." Set the alarm. So I was like, whatever. I'd done it multiple times. This was nothing to me. So that night, my dad starts to vacuum. Vacuuming was one of the first things that we would start doing because it was like the longest thing to do, so we get it done first. So he starts to vacuum. I head out, get out of there, get out, close the gate, go to the other gate, unlock it, go to the second building, start walking up the second building. As I'm walking up the second building, the way we're this close right now, I heard a girl say, "Hey," like just a "Hey." I was like, and this was coming from the direction of the park, but even though it was coming from the direction of the park, it was like if she was right here, like right next to my face, and I heard a "Hey," and so I kind of nodded like "Hey" back, but I was like, "Oh, what the hell am I talking to?" So I go inside the building, set the alarm, and then I'm like, "Wait, who said hey?" You know? So I remember I locked the door and I bust my ass. I head down the pavement. I have to lock that gate, go back to the other gate, open it up, and then I'm there and I'm stupid. I have the keys, but I'm so scared that I'm banging on the door. My dad's like, "What's going on?" Finally, I get the keys out to open it, and I'm out of breath. And I'm like, my dad's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." Why do you look scared? And I'm like, "Oh, it's nothing. I just ran over here." And he's like, "All right, cool. Let's finish up this building so we can go home." So I thought that was it. I heard the hey, didn't think much of it. We get home that night. Usually, me and my father, we take off at 9 o'clock to do this. We wouldn't get done till like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So we get home and everybody's ready to sleep. We're all still in school, so my brothers and sisters are asleep. My mom's already laying in bed. My dad goes, "All right, mijo, good night, love you." I take off to my bedroom. The way the bedrooms are set up, it was my bedroom, my sister's bedroom, and then the hallway closet along with the restroom. So that night I'm laying in bed, and we used to keep the restroom door cracked a little bit because my sisters were scared to be like completely in the dark, and my younger brother too. That night I'm laying in bed, and my bed can see to the hallway, and I see the shadow of a girl step into the hallway, and she just stays there. And you can see the light coming from the restroom on her, but she's still really dark. So if I'm laying in my bed, I start to like, I'm like, "Hey, Valerie." That's one of my sister's name. No response. And I say, "Hey, Marissa." No response whatsoever. And I start to like freak out. I'm like, you know what, whatever. So she stays there for a while. Then she goes into the restroom, closes the door. The door actually closed. You hear the water running. So after a while, the water stops running. You hear things moving in the restroom. And I'm like, okay, if it's one of my sisters, hopefully, they'll go to bed already, So I stay up just to wait for them to get out of the restroom because I'm already pretty freaked out. And they never open the restroom door. And after a while, I get pissed. I'm like, it's been a good 10 minutes. It's been a good 15 minutes. I'm not saying that there's a time limit on people who use the restroom, but it wasn't like them. So finally, I get up and I go to my sister's room. And both of them are asleep in their beds. The restroom door is still closed. So none of them had gotten up, whatever I saw. So I opened this restroom door. Nobody's in there. The water did run. The toilet was being moved around. The door did close, but there was nobody. Like there was whatever I saw in the hallway. It wasn't either of my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But I still remember that to this day. I have more. I don't want to say all of them. I want to give y'all the chance to say y'all's, but that was probably one of the creepiest encounters I've ever had as far as that goes, dude.
Wow. Interesting.
Real stuff right there.
Interesting.
It was nice.
Well, I guess I'll go next. I don't know if I'm going to top that one or if I want to top that one. I'll take it. Oh, Jesus. Goodness. Oh, my lights. Oh, goodness. Okay. So, fucking cat. Oh, my God. One of the cats went underneath.
I was waiting for you just open the restroom door and hit the table. Wow!
Oh, no. Exactly.
Okay, well,
that's crazy.
I guess I'll go past experience too, because every person has a different perspective into things and stuff. So probably take it back when I was maybe 12, 13. If you're from Corpus or you are listening from Corpus, this where my dad used to work at, it's now called Champion Field, but beforehand it's off of Saratoga and Greenwood.
Okay.
And it's kind of towards the Landfield-ish type.
You're talking about the baseball field?
Yeah.
Okay,
it used to be called the Grandstands back then.
Yeah.
Now it's called the Champion Field.
Right
but back then in the Grandstands, my dad used to work there. He used to do concession stands there, and when we close up and stuff, it's almost maybe 11, 12, and I'm usually there like on a school, off like Friday night, Saturday night with my dad, just to kind of hang out and have fun, because that's how I met a bunch of my friends. Well, I was helping my dad close one night. It's probably December because it was real cold out there, and we were closing, and usually I try to help him like mop, sweep, get everything together. So he's telling me, oh, well, can you go check and make sure everything's done in the bathroom? It's like, okay, I'll go check. Lights are already off and stuff, but, I have to turn it on and everything. And I was walking in there, check everything, clean, mop, close everything. And I usually leave the bathroom stalls open just in case. And walking, choice mirror, cleaning the mirrors. And then you kind of hear, like, the door creak a little bit. Like the restroom door, I didn't think of it. You hear, I'm like, okay, well, I was like, maybe I didn't hold it, enough to where it stayed open. Now one door creaked. All of them creaked. It was like a little line of them going. You hear one, them wiping the window, the other one, and then the next one. Fuck. So I walked back, put them all open and everything. Finish cleaning everything. I come back to turn off the light, walk away. I start on the men's one. Before I go into the men's ones, I'm grabbing like the mop bucket and everything. See that the women's restroom light is back on. I'm like, well, I turned it off. I'm like, Dad, did you turn it off? He's like, what? I'm like, did you turn on the light in the women's restroom? He's like, no. Why would I go over there? I'm like, well, shit,
Yeah.
So I went to go turn it back off, and then I look, all the bathroom doors are like still creaked, but when I went to go look, you could literally visibly see the door, but the door wasn't creaking. It just moved. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay. So I turned it off, went that way to the men's restroom. As I'm cleaning the men's restroom, opening up the doors, cleaning them, you just hear from the women's bathroom, just the door. And I'm like, holy shit. So I thought it was my dad messing with me. I call for my dad. My dad doesn't say anything. I call for him again, and I look. He's not even inside the whole fucking building. He's outside picking up stuff from trash-wise. I'm, like, freaking the fuck out. So usually when we lock up all the doors, and then we have just one open.
Yeah.
Fucking bolt out, and I, like, just sit in the office. And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, none. I think I'm good. He's like, you sure? Because you look like you're damn gonna piss yourself right now. I'm like, no, I'm good. Can I just hang out in here? And he's like, I guess so. I mean, what else do you want to do?
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I'll hang out here. So once he finished cleaning up everything that I didn't get to clean because I was freaked out for that, usually we have to turn off all the lights before we leave. So he asked me, he's like, hey, can you go turn off the lights that are left in the bathrooms? I was like, I turn off the lights. And he's like, well, they're still on. Can you go and go turn them off? I'm like, I guess so. And whenever I went to go turn it off, in the women's bathroom, you can kind of see like a little, you felt eerie walking towards that way. And I'm like, okay, this is strange. So I went to the men's restroom, just turn off that one first, and then walk that way to the women's restroom because that was the last one that I wanted to. So I'm going, and I'm like, close my eyes. I'm like, I just want to turn it off and get out of there. I don't want to see anything or anything like that. So I went, closed my eyes, feeling for the switch and everything. And when I went to do that, put my hand on the switch, and just about when I was going to turn off the light, I felt something like kind of pull my hair or tug me. And I was like, oh, hell, turn off the light and like just bolted. My dad's like, you okay? I'm like, I'm good. I just want to go home. So it's usually pitch black whenever we leave and stuff. So I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I got a tug hair, bathroom doors close on me.
I had to pass that field on my way home.
Mm-hmm.
I live like 2 minutes from it.
But now that they rebuild and reconstruction, it's not the same size that it used to be.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot smaller. It's like confined, but the way that it was whenever you had it, it was like this big old playhouse kind of in the middle, and it had like not bar tables, but like a whole bunch of tables in the inside.
Yeah.
Felt like, kind of like a restaurant wise in there, but it wasn't as big. It creeped me out. So I mean, hair pulling's not cool, man. You don't fucks with the dead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Guess I'm next.
All
Going in
right.
this direction.
Yeah, I guess.
I only have one story. Can't remember if it's part of my imagination or if it actually happened. I remember when I was 7. I was in Wrasslin. I'm from there. We lived in my grandma's house. I can't remember if my mom told me the story before this incident or after this incident, but she told me the story about when she was younger. It was the same house that she lived in. So whenever she was younger, I think she was like 5 or between 5 and 8 maybe. She was in the same room that I slept in, and she woke up one night and looking at her. The way the room is set up, her bed is right here, and the door, the entry, not the door, but there's no door. The entryway is right here. It leads to the living room. Next to the living room, the kitchen. Next to the kitchen is the restroom. Well, she was, it's our dog if you're hearing it. She was sleeping, and her bed was facing the door. So she was looking that way. Turned around and just looked up and saw a silhouette of a girl. She was wearing like a white gown and just said, "Come here," in like a little friendly voice, and runs away, goes to the living room, to the kitchen, goes to the restroom, and she hears the shower turn on. She's a kid, so she goes that way, and she follows to the restroom, and the light is off, the shower's on. Turns on light, doesn't see nobody, turns it off, runs away, goes to her bed and cries for her mom. Mom comes in, whatever, and that's pretty much the end of her story. Pretty much, I experienced the same thing, same way, except it was like maybe me. I was on a bunk bed. It was me on the bottom, my sister on top, and then in the same room, those 2 other beds, two of my brothers. And pretty much in the middle of the night, like maybe 2 in the morning, I couldn't sleep, woke up, saw a silhouette of a girl. She said, "Come play." Ran that way to the restroom, turned on the shower, and I didn't go over there. I was just in bed, like, don't know who that is. My sister's older than me, so I'll let you know my sister. And I was in bed for maybe like another 5 or 10 minutes. Finally, I got up because the shower was still on, went over there. As soon as I got to the kitchen, the shower turned off and the door closed. Went to my bed, and yeah, that's pretty much all I remember about that. I can't remember if my mom told me the story before or after the incident. Because if she told me before, I'm pretty sure it's imagination. She told me after, then same experience, I guess, as her.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
I mean, there's been a few stuff, but I mean, it's not really like to go on like full on story wise. It's mainly just like quick things that happen. But I do remember like one night my dad was out of town. I think this was back when I was still going to school.
Yeah.
So like it was nighttime. I remember waking up here like a knock on the window and someone like a voice saying, "Hey, buddy." And I just kind of looked like, and that was just way too fucking early in the morning to like just be any random person. It could have been, but who, like,
yeah,
how many people are around? Just drunk people, but no.
Cricket. Hey man.
Yeah, no, it was different.
That's scary, dude.
It is.
There was this one time. It was. Again, like most of the stuff that happens like when no one's home at all. Because my dad, a lot of times he would go work out of town, working whatever and stuff, or they go to casino. I'll be out of like Friday nights by myself.
Yeah.
It's just like noises and stuff, like a bunch of foot stop like running across. I mean, I don't know. Never seen anything visually, but hearing stuff is just it's creepy as fuck. But I guess trying to give you a little bit from someone else's point of view, because I remember my friend from Wrasslin, he told me a couple of stories.
Okay.
Okay, so he says when he was a kid or whatever, he was staying over his cousins. They went outside, of course. Then it was like nighttime. They looked outside, heard something. It was like something like a big old shadowy figure, like, like.
Yeah. No.
It was like just looked straight at him. But of course, when they went back and told like his other cousins, whatever, of course they didn't believe him. Then when they walked out, it was already gone. And I was like,
and this is in Robstown as well?
Oh, this was Robson, yes. I don't know. But I don't think it was anywhere in town. Like, they live out somewhere, like, I think what they refer to as the country, or whatever. Like, ranch areas.
Country roads,
county roads.
Like that area.
Yeah.
Another thing he had told me was that he was asleep, whatever. He woke up and looking across like this closet, he saw like a hanging body.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Sure, it wasn't real, but I mean, spirit wise,
Yeah, no,
like how things appear. Yeah. And also like a dog hanging, whatever.
Oh,
my poor puppy.
There's like creepy visuals. Said something about seeing a woman, and then it happens to be like a woman in a picture that they had in the house, but he found out it was like a relative of, like, I think it was like his grandma or aunt.
Damn.
I don't know.
Crazy stuff, man.
That is. When I was a senior in high school, this one night my parents had gone to they're going to get groceries, so they went. It was a Friday night. I was off of work. I was working at Chick-fil-A at the time.
My pleasure.
Exactly. So my parents took off to go get some groceries, and I decided to stay home. My brothers and sisters went with them.
Mm-hmm.
They offered me, "Hey, would you like to come?" I had my friend Adrian, who was like, "Hey, man, let's go see a movie tonight." And at the time, that movie, I don't know if it was The Devil Inside. I think that movie was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, you know what, let's go see that movie. So he's like, all right, I'll pick you up at this time. We'll get tickets and all this. And what ended up happening is it was sold out. We saw The Sitter with Jonah Hill. I don't regret it. I don't regret it, yeah. So I stayed home, and I decided I FaceTimed some friends because I just got on my iPod Touch. And I discovered like FaceTime. So I was like,
for the first time
I was
ever?
like, yeah, I was FaceTiming them for a while in my room by myself. Of course, nobody was home. I had the door closed. And then I told them, okay, well, I got to go jump in the shower. I'm taking off. I'm going to go see a movie. All right, cool. Well, at the time, I was also dating a girl. So she called me right after I got off the phone with him. And she was telling me how her break was going. She was on break at the time. And then I was like, oh, I might go by to see you. I'm going to ask Adrian, my friend, blah, blah, blah. Well, I hang up the phone, and I'm like, time to go take a shower. So I go to the shower. I'm the only one at home. I go take a shower, and I'm in the shower by myself. And I start listening to music. At the time, I had this really small phone, maybe that big, and it was one of those slide-up phones.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, but I had music, so we have this set up in our bathroom. It's like potpourri, kind of like that, but it's in wood. So if you place your phone there, the sound projects. Yeah, it's not going to have a speaker or anything. So I place it there, and I'm listening to my music. And a little while later, the doorknob to the restroom starts to turn. And I can see it. Like, I look outside of the restroom. At first, I hear it shaking. And I'm like, what's that noise coming from? So I open the curtain, I look at the door, look at the handle, and the handle's moving. It's jolting. And I'm like, okay, it's nothing. And again, comes back into jolting on the doorknob again. And I'm like, so at the time, I'm scared, So I'm a believer in the faith. I love God. So I'm just like, I'm just going to pray it away. God, like, please. And I get back to taking my shower. I finish my shower. It stopped, right? So I was like, okay, all is well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm there in the shower, and, you dry up afterwards. You dry up and brush your teeth and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm in the restroom doing that. All of a sudden, I hear footsteps in the hallway. These footsteps are carrying themselves from my room to the door, from the door to the room. And the reason I know there's somebody standing outside the door is because you can hear the breathing. And then the footsteps continue back to my room. And I finally went, you know what, God, I don't care what's behind this door. Like, I'm just gonna open it. So I'm like, whatever's there, if it be a serial killer, like, tell my parents I love them. Open the door. There's nothing. There was nothing. I get out of the restroom, boxers on only, and I checked the entire house, the garage, and I just remember getting so scared. I turned on all the lights in the house. Just sat there in my living room until my friend called me that he was coming to pick me up. That was like one of the scariest moments I had as far as that goes. And this was like years later after I saw the girl at Shadow. Well, the figure, it was there. I know it was there.
Same house?
This is in the same house, yeah. So then this happened. That freaked me out. So nothing has happened in the house as far pertaining to me since. My sister went through a few things. She said that she would see a lady in the corner of her room, and that lady would just stay there. And it was an older lady. That was one of the things. She would hear things moving in the kitchen when there was nothing. Those were her stories. As far as me pertaining, the last time I ever experienced something like this was my friends throw a lot of barbecues, and I always go over. So when we barbecue, they open the garage. Everybody's outside in the garage chilling and everything like that. They turn on all the lights inside the house because it's like we're gonna be outside. I don't need to waste electricity. So what's it called? I go this one time and we're standing in the living room, and I go into the living room with my friend Orlando and my friend Alec, and we're standing there. Everybody else is outside. We went inside to get something real fast, and Alec tells me, "Hey man, what's your take on ghost and I tell him, well, biblically speaking, I believe in angels and demons and stuff like that." Well, I'm sorry, I hear the dog growling. That's why I'm kind of.
Oh no, it's the cats. The cats are in our room.
Okay,
so
go. Okay.
You'll hear the bells running around everywhere, and you'll hear them running back.
Okay, so I'm standing in the living room. My friends had already told me stories about things that happened in their house. They would say, this, we found that. This house was built, but yet we found a soccer ball inside the attic. Even though this house was built, there's no way that the soccer ball could have gotten in the attic, unless the builders were messing around. You know what I mean? Like on breaking stuff. Just kicked it up. And oh shoot!
Goal.
Yeah. So we're standing there. He starts to tell me this, and while we're talking, we hear the doorknob to my friend Adrian's room moving, and Adrian's outside. We're all outside. It was just me, Orlando, and Alec. They could tell you this because they were all there that day. So I grabbed my cell phone light and I pointed at the doorknob, and sure enough, the doorknob's moving, and we just stay there looking at it, and then it opens up a little bit. And it stops, right in front of us. Another time that it happened, we were all chilling, and I brought it up, and I was like, "Is this house haunted or something?" And my friend Christian goes, "Well, stuff happens in this house." I ignore it. I've learned to ignore it. Don't feed into it. While we're saying this, dude, the restroom door shuts closed, and nobody's in the restroom. Like nobody's near the restroom, and it's not their dogs because their dogs, Ruffles and Teddy at the time, really cute. But they make it known when they slam a door. You know what I mean? You'll know it's Ruffles or Teddy. It was neither of them. And what's crazy is that in that same house, this one time, it was back in 2013, I get a phone call from my friend. It's like 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, "Yo, dude, quit playing around with me." It's my friend Adrian who lives at the house. His parents were out of town with his brothers. And he was like, "Yo, dude, quit playing around with me." And I'm like, "What do you mean playing around with you?" Like, "Come out." He's like, "Come out of what?" He's like, "Come out of my parents' room." I'm like, "Adrian, I'm at home." He's like, "No, you're not, dude. You're in my parents' room." And I was like, "No, I'm not. Dude, please tell me you're lying." And I would go over there a lot. There's like a second family to me, so I figured, he's really thinking I'm lying. He goes, "Prove to me that you're at home." And my dad's in the kitchen. And I put him on speaker. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, can you tell hi to Adrian?" And then he's like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And then Adrian's like, "Dude, what the hell?" He's like, I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I'm going to go pick you up right now. I do not want to be in this house." And I was like, "What happened?" So as soon as you open the door to the house, it's a straight shot to the parents' bedroom. That's the first thing you see, right? So he said he got in there, and the door was open to his parents' room. The lights were off, whatever. He goes to the kitchen and get himself a snack. He just got out of work. And then the door just slams hard. And he said when that happened, he was like, Manuel? Because his parents were out of town with his brothers. And he said that he creeped him out. That night, we ended up not going back to the house. We stayed up till 6 a.m, driving around Corpus. That's what we did the entire evening. Picked up a friend. We just hung out. We Didn't go back to that house at all. Like that was the trippiest thing. Nothing's happened at that house since. I've stayed the night multiple times since, but messed me up when I was younger.
Should I go to Cole Park that night?
Huh?
Should I go to Cole Park that night?
I'm not sure we did. I've been to Cole Park at night. Yeah, I've chilled there, especially at the skate park.
Yeah,
I've chilled there with friends and just sat down. But I've heard like stories that supposedly like Cole Park is haunted, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard just like the Lexington supposedly haunted here. There's certain areas in Corpus that are haunted. I have the Ritz Theater supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one that's right there by Rockets.
Yeah, the one that they're trying to save right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that was haunted. Yeah, I took a tour of the Ritz Theater not too long ago because they had that taco truck festival, and they had the Ritz Theater. Yeah, so we went in there, and you go further and further up at the top. There's like I guess where they used to project the movies or whatever, and it's just dark and quiet, dude. And then there's the stairs that lead down, and it's just dark. But I didn't take that chance. I was like, no thanks, because they're like, oh, you can explore whatever, just be careful. That's all they told us, but I was like, nah, dude, it's way too dark.
Like right when they say that, you're like, I'm not Scooby in the game,
Yeah,
so I'm like,
I'm not. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not into that whole mystery thing.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna. That was a trip, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be something the scariest.
Mm-hmm.
All this is just like real stuff, though. Everything I told, that's real experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I still have faith and stuff like that. I'll still, but talking about it, it's like I can't deny what I've seen or heard. It's just, it's there. Like, couldn't sleep recently. I had to sleep with my door open in my room. I'm not even gonna lie, because my parents told me a story. My grandma Eva, she passed away before I was even born. That's my dad's mother. Never met her my entire life. So I'm born, and around the age that I could come to speak, around 2 or 3, I would tell my mother that I would sit and talk to a woman who was at the edge of my bed every night. And my mom was like, "What woman?" She's like, "She says she's my grandmother." And my mom would be like, "Grandma what?" "My grandma Eva." And my dad was like, "There's no way, like, you never met your grandmother Eva." And I was like, "No, it's her." And then my mom pulls out a picture. She's like, "Well, if it's her, then point her out on this picture." And sure enough, I pointed the picture. Like, that's the lady that's talking to me every night. And it's my grandmother Eva. I was a kid. I didn't know this story. My brothers and sisters knew about it. I heard about it on my birthday, and it freaked me out. The next day, I questioned my parents, like, tell me the truth, that this happened. And then they're like, yeah, it's true, dude, but you were young. We don't have an explanation for it whatsoever. We don't know, like, how you even knew how your grandmother looked. You explained to us exactly the details of how she looked and everything. You gave us her name. We had hardly even spoke about her because after she passed away, none of us really spoke about her. You pointed her out in pictures. You were a weird kid. And a part of me is like, man, like, then a part of me is like, yo, I could have been on Ghost Adventures. I could have had my own ghost show by now. Like, if this was happening, I could have been a medium, a psychic, making tons of money on TLC. But that's not the case, man. But that story really freaked me out when I heard it recently, and I felt uneasy sleeping, because it was just like, how could I have known that as a kid? Like I don't know. My life then and my life now, it's just, I don't deny any stories that people tell me. I listen, and then I, give perspective as in what I believe in and things like that. But
because everybody's story is different.
Yeah, everybody's story is different. Everybody's belief is different. Yeah.
Everyone has a different experience with certain stuff. Like right now, it's a lot colder.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I'm not going down that hallway.
I'm sitting right next to it. I've been looking down that hallway this entire podcast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, very funny.
I mean, I have one, but this is from my brother's personal experience. If my brother is listening, usually he does every once in a while. He'll remember the story very lightly. Not very lightly, but very well-ish. Probably me and him, I was 7. He was probably 8 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that. Ooh, la bruja. No, I'm just kidding. It's a little bit.
Yeah, I know. That's
Hey, I was like, Spanish. Sí, no, un poquito.
Brujería.
But I was 6. Well, no, I was probably 7. He was probably 8, going on 9, maybe. Well, this is when we moved into my grandmother's house, and our grandmother's house, before they remodeled it and like started adding stuff, changing stuff around. Well, me and my dad and my brother, we used to live in the garage portion, which they turned into a den. And it was me, my dad, and my brother, and it was one of those days that my dad was working at the grandstands at the time. Because it was one of the days that he worked really late. He didn't get home until maybe like 12, maybe 1 o'clock. And me and my brother was playing on the computer. This is when you first get, like, back then technology. Like, you got a laptop, you're like cool kid in the block.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, like, those things are pretty cool. So my brother was playing something on the computer, and like I was laying down on our couch that we have in there because I was waiting for my dad to come home because he said he was bringing his water burger, but I was like, oh, I'll probably take a nap before he comes home and stuff. So I guess I ended up dozing off. My brother's watching the computer and playing stuff, and to him, he thinks it was probably the computer messing with him, but honestly, the way that he describes it wasn't, his eyes messing with him and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he was like, well, I was playing the computer and all of that stuff, and like when I turned, it looked like your body was there, but something else was above you. And I don't want to say like, oh, maybe he's like, maybe it's like your spirit left you from like your body going up, because he's like, it looked just like you, but I don't know if it was you. So it's like, okay, that freaked me out a little bit when he told me and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. He said that from when it was me laying there, something above me, but from that it kind of like got up.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm literally sitting there watching it all happen. I don't know what's going on. It's floating up, comes to a standing point, goes from where I'm sleeping at, walks. My brother's here, I'm laying down here. So it does this, walks around the table, goes to the door, opens the door, out the door, going into like our living room section. He's like, I didn't know what to do. I just started scooting over just to see out the door to see where it's going. And after he scooched over and saw it walk, I literally woke up, and he's like, what? I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, oh, okay. And he didn't tell me all of this until like the morning the next day.
Oh.
And he's like freaked out, but he's like, I don't know what happened, and I feel like it was creepy. I didn't know how to describe it, but he always says, lives to this day, he's like, do you remember doing anything like that? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it literally looked like you, and walked up, got out from where you were, walked around, opened the door, and went into the hallway like if it was going into like the bathroom. And when he did that, he said, I woke up, and I'm like, no, I mean, what makes you think that was that?
The cat?
No. It's not the cat.
I don't want to see it anymore.
But I mean, from his personal experience, I mean,
Yeah.
I've never pictured anything like that. But
Yeah.
he says it was like, what he calls it is like, did I have an out of body experience
Like
from?
Insidious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, I mean, if I don't remember it, I don't know. I just know what you told me. And he's like, well, I just want to let you know that was creepy as shit. And then that house, I mean, nothing's ever happened in that house and stuff. But they always say placement. It's always key on where stuff is. That always happens. But like you said, how you believe in the religious thing, like angels and demons and stuff.
Yeah.
I always think
I like that movie.
that movie was really good too.
Oh, the second Tim and the Vinci Code, right? Angels and Demons.
Mm-hmm. To me, I always believe where placement is, because sometimes someone could build a house on an Indian burial ground. You don't even know. Sometimes spiritual wise, but I always say don't mess with something you don't know what the outcome is.
Yeah, don't play with stuff.
Yes, because you don't know. Because like honestly, I mean, it could be freaking Annabelle all over again.
Well, I mean, I had a friend who talked about her playing with the Ouija board,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "I would advise none of you to ever play with that." I've had family members play with it. I had an aunt who would practice brujeria on people. It's crazy stuff, man. As you said before, if you get into my point of view on things and angels and demons, it's a spiritual thing, and like when you mess with things like that, it's my thing. You know, it's like you're saying, like, hey, don't mess with anything that you wouldn't know the outcome to. It's true. You know, like
because you don't know.
You don't know what you're calling upon, or you know, anything could. The biblical description of Satan is the prince of the air, right? Mm-hmm. So my thing is like, if Earth, according to the Bible, is like Satan's playground, like when you go around messing with like stuff like that, and you're calling upon things like that, you don't know what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Like it's like stomping. It's like walking into territory that you shouldn't be touching.
Yeah,
you know?
it's untouched territory. Which
you're saying like it's all built on it reminded me of a Circa Survive song where he's like,
Thank you.
On top of Pebble Drop where this is a house. Dude, that's one of my favorite songs. But you reminded me, your brother seen you. Me and my brothers and sisters, they always used to go to church every Sunday morning. It was like a mandatory thing. And my mom was always running late. That was the thing that I hated because I was telling my mom I can't stand going to church because we're always late. And this one night, this one morning we're all getting ready, and it was like the first one to finish getting ready, like all the time. That was me because my thing is like being on time. So I would go and me and my brothers had bunk bed. Me and my brother had a bunk bed. So I'll go sit down on the bunk bed, and I would watch TV because the TV was right there. And so I would start watching TV, put on my clothes and everything, get ready, and then I'll go brush my teeth, brush my hair, and then go back. So this one day I'm doing that like nothing, and I think I was watching the Power Rangers. I think it was Ninja Storm at the time. My brother's in the living room just chilling. You know, he was younger, so he didn't really care for what I was watching. I go into the restroom, brush my teeth, do my hair, make myself look nice for the cuties at church. So then I'm going back to my room, and I just remember I stopped dead in my tracks because on my bed there was somebody sitting down. There was a guy sitting down, and he was messing with his hair, and that's exactly what I do. Like it was the same shape as I was, doing the same thing. Like I would mess with my hair if I didn't like the way it looked. I would just mess with it with a comb while I'm watching TV, and he's doing that. And I just remember I stopped, and I was like, heart stops. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it right now. But like heart stops, and I'm like, and I'm looking at this person, and I'm looking at myself like, I'm not there. Like I haven't done that yet. That's what I'm going to do. Like the comb's in my hand, and then like I just back out of my room, go sit down in the living room with brothers and sisters. Be like, did y'all just see something in my room? No. And I was like, are you sure? And then my little brother's like, I thought you were in the room right now. I was like, what do you mean? I thought I saw you. I walked by the room and was like calling you. Thought I saw you, and I guess you just never listened to me. I was like, no, I wasn't in the room. So my thing was like to me it felt like a time fragment. Like it was a future thing, kind of like a person that didn't belong there but was me doing what I was going to do but had not done.
Yeah.
You know? So it's weird. Like it felt like it was a part of time that was like looped or like just kind of like remained there. You know what I mean? So that was weird. That just speaking about it now, it's kind of the ugliest feeling. But oh, dude, seeing myself was the weirdest thing. Like from the back though, and I knew it was me. As soon as I saw it, I just remember I'm standing within feet, like where Nick is. There's the bed. I'm like a little bit further behind you, and let's say you or me sitting down on the bed. And I just remember I'm watching this, and I'm like, this isn't real life. You know, that was one of the ugliest things. You talk about having clones. You know what I mean? Going back in time. That's a scary thing. You know what I mean? When you look at it that way, yeah. You know, like, oh, that was ugly.
So does anybody else have any story?
No more.
Anybody want to turn down this AC? Damn, it's cold. I am dying. I'm not gonna go higher.
You want me to put the light on the?
No, I'm not going. I have to pee too because this is making it worse.
What?
No. I don't do scary stories. I'm just doing this because I want to be a part of this.
To land the mood, it wasn't really much of a ghost. It was more of an angel spirit. Apparently, what my mom said when I was asleep back at her house, I was laying there. Well, I was already asleep, but she was in the kitchen. I used to sleep in like their living room. That was like when I was sleeping at. But she saw like an angel. It was like he was like bald, whatever, just like kind of walking back and forth. So apparently, it's my guardian angel. It was like I don't know.
It's I have nothing against that. Like biblically speaking, like you ever see those pictures of cherub angels? I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're called cherub, and they make them look like really cute. They're usually like little kids, babies, curly hair, wings. And for years, I was like, oh, that's how angels look. And if you read a physical description biblically of angels, especially cherub, they're some of the strongest angels. So when we see these cute and cuddly things, like you're really looking at, I would say, a 6 foot dude, a 6 foot chick, really built. That's what you're getting with the cherub angel. So I remember, I think it's like your mom saying, like, I saw somebody walking back and forth. If you, I mean, what I believe in, this is what I believe in. That could have possibly been an angel and your mother saw it. Because I've heard stories of there's a guy who was a serial rapist, right? Had already committed a few it's a serial rapist, somebody who rapes multiple times. Doesn't kill, but a serial rapist is somebody who series of rapes. So he would go to this one park all the time, and he would look for women joggers late at night, and he would attack them, rape them, get away with it. So he says, so he finally gets caught, and he's stands before trial, and some of the people go to speak, or women who had jogged in that park went to support these women who had been raped. You know what I mean? So they start interviewing this one lady who was usually jogs there. And she's like, yeah, I jog there every night. And it turns out the one night that he got caught is because he finally killed. He raped and killed. And that's when it all led back to him. And this woman says, I remember being there that night and seeing this girl. She was jogging ahead of me or behind me. And she goes, what I'm hurt over, she asked the guy, why didn't you rape me? Why didn't you take my life? This girl was much younger, had more going, like, I'm not saying I wanted to be, but if I could take the place of this woman, I would. Like, she didn't deserve such an instant death. And the guy replies, I couldn't rape you. And she's like, why? We were both jogging. We were both there alone. He goes, no, you weren't there alone. You were two dudes next to you. We're jogging. You are jogging in unison. And these dudes were like fit. And I knew that if I jumped out to rape you or even touch you, I was going to get my ass handed to me. And this girl just remembers saying, like, I pray every time before I go for a jog that I would just be protected on my jog. And so, like, hear that, and then, like, to hear your mother tell this story. It's crazy stuff, man. I mean, as I said before, we all have your own viewpoints and stuff like that. But that's what I love conversation, especially with this stuff, like ghost stories and stories in general. Everything that I have said is, as far as those stories go, is very accurate. It's not fabricated. Like, I'm sure everything y'all said too, very accurate, not fabricated. And I can't sit with somebody who's going to tell me that what I saw was your imagination playing tricks on you. It was just you doing things. Because when I'm seeing physical objects move, like the Russian door being closed, the water, hearing the water turn on,
jiggling of
this is the jiggling of a door, the moving of a doorknob, a door opening, like that. That's not like, oh, it was the wind. Yes, because the wind somehow can airbend and open the door. Like, it's just.
Are you an airbender?
Is there an airbender here? Aang? Yeah, like right. But no, like crazy stuff, man. I love hearing y'all stories. I'm definitely never going to the grandstands now.
Well, no longer.
It's set in stone.
It's not a grandstands anymore now.
Well, I mean, you can build whatever you want on it. But as you said before, like.
It depends. Placement.
It just doesn't feel right. Crazy stuff.
But it's fun. I mean, not fun stuff, but like it's interesting to see everyone's take or perspective of someone's experience. Because, like you said, you can't judge someone from their experience. You can't say, "Oh, it's your imagination." How do you know? You weren't there.
Yeah, you can't. And I know, like, even me being like a Christian is. I mean, I'm more open to listening to people speak about their encounters and what they think. You go. There's certain Christians out there that would automatically be like, brother. You need to get saved, dude. Those are demons, and they're gonna kill you. And that's not what you want to hear.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
like that's like
"No."
you want to conversate. Like, well, what am I seeing or what is this? Like the weirdest experience that I've ever had with somebody talking to me was Walmart. Whenever I would go outside to smoke a cigarette every break. That's when I was like hardcore smoking. And I went this one night. It's kind of rainy. Go outside to smoke a cigarette. I'm chilling there on my last break, and this girl comes to sit down. A really pretty girl. And she's like, "Can I bum one off of you?" I'm like, "Hey, by all means." And then she starts to tell me a story about how like she was an abusive dude. She's back with her parents. She used to model in New York, and all this story. And some of it seems fabricated. And then she starts to tell me, "And I speak to dead people." And I was like, "What?" Like, she's like, "Yeah, like I believe this old man speaking through me." And she starts to say all this stuff. I remember just like kind of like tripping, but I gave her the time of day to listen. You know what I mean? Like. She goes, "I know there's a little boy too. He speaks through me. He's trying to reach his family." And then all this was like during the cigarette. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
How many
usually
can you take?
I'm trying to, I'm finishing my cigarette. That was like, I end the break like that. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to ignore her because obviously she wants somebody to talk to. So feel free to vent. And she did for a while. I think I was on my lunch. That's why I stayed. Because I listened to it all, but I was like, man. So it's all about listening. That's my thing, man.
Listening and venting.
Listening and venting to let people like explain their story.
And it's interesting.
So we got
any creepy conspiracy theories to kind of just make up for the lack of.
I'm really gonna turn down this AC. Turn off this AC.
Had to be a riot.
The what?
Had to be a riot about it by the longer.
No. As far as conspiracies go, I turn to Shane Dawson for the conspiracy.
Oh God,
I love Shane Dawson, but it's that's probably like. Did y'all hear about
the one that I love right now that he did for the second part? That Chuck E. Cheese pizza slice thing.
Because I heard like the H3 podcast talk about this conspiracy. Did you hear about it? About Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy? You heard about it, Franco? Basically, people think that at Chuck E. Cheese, if you ever ordered a pizza, if we were to go to Little Caesars right now, they're gonna cut our pizza.
In front of us,
right? Or maybe not in front of us, but when you get it, you'll see the circle, and you'll see where maybe they cut.
Sometimes they don't cut all the way through.
Yeah, and you'll know and you'll know, horrible,
and you'll hear me yell, "Oh my God!"
I'm like, I'm still gonna eat this though. All right. Well, at Chuck E. Cheese, supposedly, people have complained. Have you never noticed that like the pizza is not fully circular or it's uneven, right? And so the conspiracy is that employees are taking leftover pizzas that people were not buying or that were leaving behind, and they take it to the back. They throw it into another pizza, like pieces together, melt some cheese over it,
and then
put it in the oven, then reserve it to a customer. That was the thing. They go to test this theory. He ends up saying that he doesn't know if it's true or not. That's the way his conspiracy ends. He wasn't going to say anything because if fear of Chuck E. Cheese trying to sue him. He does the measurements and stuff. It doesn't add up. I heard H3 talk about it, and then Ethan said, well, what if they have so many pizzas back there that when they give you your pizza, let's say a large is 8 slices, they're just taking 8 slices of pizza. It's like it's not that it's old slices. It's just all the pizzas back there. Like they cut them up already, and then like, they want a half pepperoni, half this. Instead of making a brand new one, we have a cheese pizza right there, pepperoni pizza right there. Let's just throw it all in there, like in serve it to them that way. These are both fresh pizzas, and that's the way it's being done back there. You know what I mean? Which in a way that kind of like for me, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But
as a rush, like not bashing Chuck E. Cheese or anything, but like as a restaurant that strives on like freshness and stuff like that, that's catering stuff that you would do, having pizza like sitting there waiting and stuff like that. That's like prep and like up into catering wise. I mean, you can freeze stuff, use it for the next day kind of stuff. Yeah. But like if a company strives on like freshness and stuff like that,
they're probably not gonna have pizzas out like that.
Yeah, they're not gonna have pizzas out like that. Not to say that maybe they do that, maybe they don't do that, but in theory, I mean, if you're striving on freshness, I wouldn't do that. I mean,
at the end of the day, it's like I haven't eaten Chuck E. Cheese pizza in a while, but I know I'm still gonna eat it. Because if I had to, like, if my nephew wants his birthday party there, I'm still gonna go eat Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Because that pizza looks bomb. Pizza's bomb in general. The end of the conspiracy had me like, whoa, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not gonna deny pizza though. Like, if
it's old pizza, new
like
pizza,
I don't care because it's like
pizza.
We don't know what goes on behind half of the restaurants we go eat at. We just assume and trust everything's fresh.
You're just trusting someone that has a food handler's permit.
Exactly, you don't know. I saw, like, Chick-fil-A is a clean restaurant, and I saw that, but it's like, I mean, you don't know the type of dudes you're working with. Like, anybody could do whatever they want to your food. I could have done whatever I want. The worst thing I ever did was when I did prep and I would do those Southwest salads with the spicy chicken. I'm just eating the chicken. Don't worry. I wasn't
putting it in.
I mean, that stuff's dope, man. I was like,
You like take one.
For you,
oh, this cheesecake broke before I could put it in the salad. I guess I gotta finish it. Yeah, like.
Is there like no Chuck E. Cheese employee who's calling on that?
Well, there are some that are like, it's not real. Like, I work at Chuck E. Cheese. That doesn't happen. But then somebody said as well, somebody's getting paid. People that are getting paid minimum wage, they're not going to come out and defend it. Like, why would, like, if I worked at Chuck E. Cheese and somebody was bashing it, are they going to pay me more if I go on YouTube and I'm like, yo, that's not true. I work at Chuck E. Cheese. Am I going to get a raise, a bonus? Am I going to become a manager? No. It's like if somebody was bashing Walmart, I'm not going to stand up for Walmart. I'm going to be like, yo, bash them, bro. I'm all for it. Like,
I know those employees are like, if they're pissed off, like, yeah, that is true. Is there any employees that
I don't think I've heard them say that. Like,
want to go straight from Ryan?
Yeah, dude. Oh, heck yeah.
Hello? You're on.
What?
You're on right now.
Oh, am I? Okay.
Yeah.
So why ghost? Are we still talking about ghost stories?
Yeah. I don't know if you can. The audio can hear. Go ahead.
It sounds like you're outside. It's like it sounds a little windy.
No, I'm inside.
Scoot this one.
Oh, it's probably Kenny with his dish over here.
What?
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess my ghost story that I was going to tell was basically the first time that I used to work at a college, security, and one of my first days there, one of the guys tells me, hey, you believe in ghosts? And I was like, yeah, actually I do. So he pulls out his phone and he recorded, for this college, we have to arm up the buildings with a security device, meaning that if there's any movement inside the building, while the buildings are armed, it triggers motion detections. And we get a call from alarm companies, and they tell us that there's something going on, and we have to go in there and investigate stuff if the alarms goes off. Well, he told me that one night the alarm went off, and they went to go to the building. They did a sweep, everything was fine. They rearmed the building, and then they went back to the office to go check out the cameras to see if they can see what possibly triggered it. Because sometimes like birds or something will be in there, and so they looked at the main camera, the very first camera. This is what he pulled up on his phone. It was the auditorium, and the camera was pointed towards the stage. And on top of the stage, there was one light. It was kind of like a stage light that was on. So it kind of illuminated most of the area. Well, from right to left, all you see is just a woman, and she walks across the stage. And right as she gets in front of the light, and by the way, she's actually casting a shadow. Like as she's walking slowly across the stage, there's like a shadow, and so you can see it very clearly. It's a woman in a dress. She gets right in front of the light, and then just disappears into no idea where it came from. And that's what they called that one night. And that's probably one of the biggest ghost stories that I've had to I've never seen something like that before, and it was the craziest thing. And working at this college, I've had so many experiences, and specifically in that building, and a couple other buildings. There's just been so many different things going on, and it was the creepiest place to work at. I remember specifically there was one building. It was the math building. Every single morning I had to go and disarm the buildings, so people can go to class and stuff. So I specifically remember hated going into this one building because I would enter the building, and the second I would turn around to unlock the doors, I just felt like someone was staring at me, like, and not in a way that like they're staring, like angry staring, like you just felt like there was someone throwing a dagger like in the back of your skull, and it was never like occasionally, it was all the time, and it was the creepiest feeling ever. Like in the entire time I was in that building, I never once failed. I felt like someone was just staring at me the entire time, no matter where I walked. It was like someone just angrily. If you ever have that feeling of someone staring at you, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and this one was like so, like, apparent, like it was just every time I turned around, and when I walked around that building, it just felt like something was there, and it was the creepiest feeling ever.
Wow, I like that. That's interesting.
You there?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
He's like, no!
It took him.
It's okay. Got any other ghost stories?
I have tons of them. Do you want to hear more? I have, that entire place was a trip.
We could hear like 2 more maybe.
I gotta go.
2 more? Okay, let me think of 2 more. I guess another one that happened to me was, I remember I was doing another building. I was disarming it. No. Actually, we had an alarm go off, so I walked through the building. I'll tell the other one next. I just thought of a much better one. But anyways, the alarm went off. I walked through the building. Everything was fine. And just as I was leaving, I walked through. It was the gymnasium, and I walked through the gymnasium to go, out the exit. And I felt something kind of weird. Like it kind of felt like something kind of brushed my neck, like a really cold, just like a small wind, kind of, just randomly. And I kind of stopped in my tracks. I looked around, and I didn't see anything. And I kind of grabbed my neck. There was like a bug or anything. So I didn't think anything of it, and so I kept walking, but I heard like a little, like something kind of sliding on the gymnasium floor, and as I turned to look at the direction it was in, I just barely caught the tail end of one of the mats, like a yoga mat kind of. It was like it just kind of slid just ever so slightly. Like I barely looked over, I just kind of caught it the last second as it was stopping. And I was like, oh shit, I fucking booked it out of there. I don't know what happened. Like there was no reason it should have been like that, but yeah, it's like it just moved. Like I barely caught it, and it moved quite a bit. Like it was a good little push to the pushback, and I was like, what the hell? So I got out of there real quick, armed up the building, shut the door, locked it, said, all right, I'm done with this one. But I just remembered the better story that I have. It was the English building. The English building it was the only building that had like not the only building, but it was the only building that had an elevator that had one of those emergency phones connected directly to the security shack that I was in. And so the security shack had 2 phones. Had one, and they both had a particular ring to it. And one night I was there with my partner, and a phone starts ringing, and it's not those phones. And I look at him, like, oh, that's your phone? He's like, no. I was like, here it is, And we turn around, and there's another phone in the back, right, kind of in the corner, and I've never seen it before. No one told me anything about it. I was like, what's this? He's like, I have no idea. So I answered, I was like, security, how can I help you? And no one's listening. No one's on the other line, right? So I was like, all right. So I hang it up, and it starts ringing again. I was like, what the heck? So I pick it back up. Security, hello? Hello? And there's nothing there. So we called my supervisor, and I was like, hey, there's a phone in the back. Like, it's ringing. I don't know what it is. What is it? He's like, oh, you know what? That's the phone to the elevator at the English building. He's like, it's the emergency phone. So can you go in there and make sure no one's like, in there or something? I was like, okay. So I go to the building, I disarm it, and again, this is a building that if there's motion in there, it's going to detect it. And so I disarm it. I go to the elevator. No, I'm sorry. I sent my partner first. I sent my partner to go over there to go check it out. He tells me, oh, the phone's off its ringer, so I'm going to put it back. I was like, okay, simple. So he says he puts it back, he comes back. Well, he doesn't make it back. The phone starts ringing again, right? So I answer it, hello, and it doesn't. There's no one on the other line. So I call the radio. I'm like, hey man, the phone's going back off again. Are you sure you put it on? He was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, man. He's like, okay, let me go check again. So after a couple minutes later, he calls. He's like, hey man, it's off again. I don't know what's happening. Like maybe the elevator's causing it to move around. I was like, okay, well, put it back on. We'll see what happens. So he puts it on a second time.
Go ahead.
This time what's that?
Sorry, there's someone in the comments saying if they want to join. Yeah, go ahead and tell your story in the comments, I guess, if you want. All right, go ahead, Ryan.
And so he makes it all the way back to the shack this time, right? And it's literally been like two hours or something after he arms up the building, and the phone starts ringing again. And I was like, bro, and he's like, I swear to you, I put it on the ringer. It's been 2 hours. It would have been there. I answer the phone, nothing. I put the phone back on, starts ringing again, and he looks at me. He's like, "You're going this time," and I was like, "All right, fine." So then I go. So I go over there, inside the building. I go into the elevator, and the phone's kind of dangling, right? Like it's like an elevator phone. There's no buttons or anything. It's just a regular, has a receiver, and it kind of hangs on a little thing. So, and it's just kind of dangling by its cord on the outside of the door. There's even a door there, like to shut it. And the door's it has like a latch, right? So you kind of have to push it to really shut it. So I put it back on its receiver, and I kind of push it around. Right? I kind of push in the receiver to make sure it's maybe it's kind of loose or something. But I mean, it was pretty on there. Like I kind of flipped it around a little bit, and it was fine. I shut the door. I go up and down the elevator for a little bit just to make sure that maybe there's something wrong. And it's not moving. And I called him and told him everything that I did. I was like, "Look, man, this thing shouldn't be coming off." And so finally, I arm up the building, I go back, and then another hour later, the phone starts ringing again, and we both look at each other like we're done. So I actually just unplugged that phone, and I left it unplugged. I told him the next day, I was like, "Hey, it's unplugged, so we're not going back. I don't know what's wrong. That thing should not be coming off its receiver." I flicked it around, I pushed it, that door is latched, so it has to be unlatched to kind of like for the phone, even if the phone kind of came off, it probably shouldn't have pushed the door. Like there's something that has to have forced it to open. So to this day, we don't know what happened. It didn't happen. It was just that one night. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I left that thing unplugged. I didn't want to go back anymore. I was done. I don't care.
It's a creepy story.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. I've had so many weird things happen to me over at that campus. It's just the strangest thing to go through.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Golden Bro.
Oh yeah, go ahead. We have some dude in the comments wanting to tell a ghost story.
What's that?
We have some dude in the comments wanting to tell a ghost story. He's from Europe, Serbia.
Damn, Europe.
I guess I'll let you go, Ryan.
Let me go?
Yeah, so you get back to work.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Those are my stories. I got tons of them, but
Part
those
2.
are probably the creepiest things that have happened to me at that place.
Yeah, we'll do a podcast with you whenever we have time, possibly Sunday.
Okay.
All right, later, man.
See you later. Bye.
Take it easy, bro.
Sorry, hung up.
Sorry, I was messing with my camera.
I guess we're gonna wait for him to throw it on here.
Yeah.
Right? I do have another story that Ryan mentioned, auditorium.
Hold on, I'm gonna relight my candle because I'm over here fucking with my candles. So sorry, guys.
It's all good.
Floor is yours.
Oh shoot, because I saw this. Okay, so at West Oso, we had a junior high. It's the junior high now. What it used to be the high school, right? So a new high school was made, West Oso High School. So now the junior high is where the old high school was, right? That's the junior high. They knocked down the junior high they used to have. So we would go there to practice for plays. And I remember this one time. Oh, okay, hold on. Well, do you know what Jerryback is? It's a little furry creature that can possess a child that wasn't buried with a ceremony or was just on the edge of the graveyard. Can take the form to bait people to help them.
That's interesting.
Is this okay? He's commenting again. Then, after butchering you by the legend, they feast on your soul.
Interesting.
That's dope, man. Is this like a European thing? I'm sorry, I was about to call you Dre back. Golden Bro. Is that like this? This is a story that goes on in Europe. I've never heard of this story. Like, is it? This is pretty interesting. I've heard of like Krampus and stuff.
Krampus.
Because it's not totally. It's like Russian. Krampus is like Russian. Yeah.
Krampus.
Krampus. Crumps. He's like, step up.
Crumps. He's like, damn.
Okay, then after butchering you by the legend, they feast on your soul. I'm really interested to hear the rest of this, man, because I feel like if you're gonna go somewhere with this story, I'm a little scared, bro. If you tell me that, like, I'm gonna let him finish commenting. We'll let you finish commenting, brother. So this auditorium, we would practice at for our plays, and this one time while I was practicing, we had to go open the door because what we would do is we'd lock the doors of the auditorium so people wouldn't try to barge in, especially the kids that were leaving after school.
Mm-hmm.
So this one day we go and I jump off stage, and mind you, it's just pitch dark outside in the audience because you're only really cared about the stage lights, right? So I jump off stage because somebody's banging on the door, and I'm like, okay, you got to go open it. So I remember I run off stage and I run through like where the audience would be basically. And right before I hit like the edge, like to go open that door, I see a man like sitting down watching us practice. And I remember just being like, how's it going, sir? And he just goes like, tilts his head. And then I go open the door for my friends and they're like, hey, sorry, we got here late, blah, blah, blah. Crazy thing is, bro, there was never a man there. Like it was just, so I didn't think much of it, whatever. I didn't tell this story, right? Well, we ended up going to UIL a lot for this competition, so we would have to go out of town to perform. So we would get there extra early in the morning, and my friend Sarah actually caught it on video, but she's recording the auditorium. She's like, hey, guys, I'm here right now. We're about to get ready to head out to UIL for the boys next door. This is the empty auditorium, and when she does that, bro, in one of the areas that's open for, like, the public to start coming in, there's a man standing there. A figure standing there, and she goes like that, and when she comes back around, it's gone. And I remember she rewinded on her phone multiple times to show us. So that was really like tripping me out bad. Another time, my friend, okay, hold on, he commented back. In the end of the summer of 2018, I had to go to the bathroom when it was 2 a.m. Most people have indoor bathrooms, but mine is outside. At first, when I heard it, it was like a mix of an elephant, crocodile, and tiger, like scream. So you heard the Dravac? Oh shit. Golden Bro, did you hear the Dravac? Is that what you're saying, that you heard the scream? You heard the Dravac scream?
Interesting.
Okay.
For the ones listening on audio,
Yeah,
we're on YouTube live right now, and there's a commenter telling us, I guess, his little story. Ghost or what do we say?
What they call encounters in Europe.
So if you don't know, if you want to go to live video, go to live video. Well, we're not live no more if you listen to this on audio. But
if you want to go back and listen back in,
so
actually see our reaction.
Yeah, we're reading Golden Boy's story. Golden Bro, sorry. Pony Boy, stay going, Pony Boy. No, okay, so that was like one of the things. Another time, a friend locked her cell phone in the dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't lock it though. Somehow somebody closed the door, locked it, and so we're all banging on the door, like trying to open it. Okay, hold on, sorry, because it was so far, it seemed like an airplane, so I didn't think much of it, but it's still shaking myself. I didn't know why until I heard it much closer, and it was going at an unimaginable speed. So this is your encounter with the Dravac. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. Because it's like, as part of this legend in Europe, it's like, is there an amount of times that you could say his name? Because I need to know. I said it a bunch of times, okay? And if you're saying it's moving at an unimaginable speed,
he's probably already on his way this
I can't run that fast.
He's like, I'm a big boy.
I'm a big boy. He gonna eat me.
It's like Beetlejuice. How many times?
Yeah. Like, don't say that name around here. Yeah. Okay, so this is... Yeah, as Franco was saying, for those of you who are going to be listening to this on audio, channel by the name of Golden Bro joined the, what would you call it, the Discord? That's what they're commenting on.
They're
the chat.
Actually typing it in on the chat, on the live chat right
on
now.
the live chat, and it's somebody from Europe, and they're telling a story of this thing called the Dravac. So...
Trying to get larger, but I can't. Anyways, you guys go on with the story until he comes again?
Yeah, okay, so she she was like, I'm trying to get in the dressing room. So we all go, and the guys are trying to open it, and then we just let it go. Like we're like, because we hear the doorknob move, and we're like, guys, get your hands off the doorknob. We're trying to push it open. So we stop, and the doorknob's just moving on its own. Like something was that whatever goes on at the West Dorset Junior High. If you're in theater arts there, homie, I'm praying for you every single day because I experienced stuff there. It's creepy. He did comment again. It was running around the bathroom, saying with a voice that sounds like it's from an old video track rather than a person. It mentioned my name and said, "Get out," all running in circles. Okay. So for those of y'all listening on audio, the Dravac is a monster who kills children, right? Or it can possess a child that wasn't buried with the proper ceremony or was buried on the edge of a graveyard. It could take their form to bait people to help them. So supposedly Golden Bro has an outhouse, right? His bathroom's outside, so he has to walk to it. Yeah. So. And this Dravac appeared. I don't know if it appeared in human form or in the form of a kid. Golden Bro, did it appear in human form or in the form of a kid?
Once we get that in,
I'm gonna let Golden Bro comment back, but I'm gonna look up what the Dravac is, and that's a pretty dope name though. I don't know what the homie does or how bad he is, but
this is interesting.
Yeah, it is. I'll look it up. I can't. Let me see. Oh, Drekavac. I'm sorry. I'm saying it all wrong. Or maybe I should just continue pronouncing it wrong. Probably just call it over here.
Just call it D.
D. Okay, I waited until I was a bit away from the door because the bathroom isn't that much away from the main house doors. I just sprinted in, slamming the door, and I spilled holy water on every wall and window. Did it leave after you spilled the holy water? How did it look? Did you catch a glimpse of it?
That sucks. You can only do 200 characters at a time on.
I'm about to fight YouTube.
YouTube,
pretty sure they count the space as a character as well. I'm pretty
sure they get rid of my channel.
They're like Manny Fresh, Manny
it's
gone.
A little less fresh on YouTube.
Oh, dude, so there is a Drekavac. Looks kind of like a gargoyle. And I kind of like the version. No, okay, the version of the chupacabra. I would say that's what Drekavac is. Also called Jucalo. Did he comment again?
No.
Also called Jucalo Krekavac, Zed Drekavac, or Iziri Kavak, a mythical creature in South Slavic mythology. The name is derived from the adjective Drekatel, meaning yelling.
Interesting.
It's the first time I've ever heard of this. Description. In South Slavic mythology, it is described as a furry humanoid forest demon bearing long claws on the front limbs. In later folk tales, this creature has been variously described. In some folk tales, oh, did he?
Later, I saw the eyes of a little child on my window, saying, "Let me in." I didn't. I pulled the blinds down. Then 10 minutes later, I heard 3 taps on my window and heard that loud scream in the distance.
Ooh.
Were you at home alone at the time, or are you living with somebody, or are you?
I'm guessing parents, maybe.
Well, because like to have an outhouse for a bathroom, I just wouldn't use the restroom at all. I use it myself. Very stinky room. Yeah, while we wait for him to reply, in some folk tales, has been depicted in the form of an undead man that came out of the grave during night to haunt people. Also, in some folk tales, been depicted in the form of an undead, unbaptized child that rose out from its grave during nighttime to haunt its parents. Also, this homie, you a parent? You bury your kid? Because it haunts parents. During nighttime to haunt its parents. Also, this creature is known for calling out to people passing near cemeteries to baptize it. So it wants to baptize? Okay, he commented back.
I lived with my mom, but 3 months later, we were renting out our place and we're selling the house, so we thankfully moved out.
Have you experienced this? Any other encounters with it since then, or was it just at this house? Because it baptizes. Why does it baptize people? It calls out to people passing near cemeteries to baptize it, but it also uses an undead, unbaptized child. Oh, does it call? Is it saying that it calls out to people like, "Please baptize me"?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In eastern Serbia, because this guy said he's from Serbia, it has been depicted in the form of a humanoid canine creature that walks on its back legs. In the vicinity of Maglaj, it has been depicted in the form of a ghost of soldiers that wander around during nighttime scaring people. In the vicinity of Kozarska Dubika, it has been depicted as a vampire-like undead man that rises out of the grave during nighttime and wanders around scaring people. In the vicinity of Arihe, it has been depicted in the form of a long-necked, long-necked creature like cat with a cat-like head. Of course, cats. In something Zupa, it's been depicted in the form of a one-legged humanoid creature with glowing eyes that wanders around during nighttime, scares people. Damn, there's like so many different what's it called?
Versions of it.
Yeah, like
It's like a La Lola, Lola. There's different versions of it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
La Chucha.
La Chusa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My dad strongly believes in La Chusa. He's run into it. Oh, okay. It's not the house. Drekavac is usually near forest or mountains. My house was directly near the woods. 2 more people had the experience. I can tell you their experience if you want.
Well, that's all the time we got. I'm just kidding.
That's up to y'all. Y'all are the podcast hosters. This is y'all's Wrasslin Talkos podcast.
For about an hour and a half. We'll probably do a part 2 some other time. So, I mean, if you want to subscribe and you can save the stories for that.
Which is really good, though.
Yeah,
because,
I
want to know a little bit more. But
Golden Bro, completely interested, man. If there is a sequel to this.
Or if not, you can also just message it to us and we'll just sell it in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Next Ghost Story Part 2. And, pretty much with that, we'll go ahead and start ending it.
Thank you so much. What is it, Golden
Bro?
Golden Bro, for your stories. Like I said, if we do a part 2, we will surely hope you can give us 2 more experiences.
Yeah, man. I've never spoken to somebody from Europe, so that's pretty dope.
And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll hear back from you again soon.
Yep.
And we'll end the live video. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.